Tonight I'm doing meatballs, and I thought I would record it. Whether this makes it onto any kind of social media or not depends on the end result. Start with about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs. I had breadcrumbs that weren't really that small, so I had to soak them for quite some time. So 1 to 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs, and then you put heavy cream over them until they're completely covered. You might need to add a little bit more if they absorb more. I probably put close to 1 cup of heavy cream and milk on here. I didn't have quite enough heavy cream, so I did put some milk. But they're all nice and mushy now. So after they get nice and mushy, then you add your other ingredients. I have 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Put that in. And I have 2 eggs. Have about 1/4 of a medium onion and 3 cloves of garlic finely diced. And then I had some fresh parsley. I don't normally put this in there, but it's about 1/2 cup. I figured I'd put that in there for a little extra flavor. Mix it up really good. Okay, I have 1 pound of hot Italian ground sausage and 1 pound of 85% or 15% fat ground beef. You can use mild Italian sausage, but I would definitely use Italian sausage. I mean, you could use all beef, but I think that the flavor is really better with the sausage. So then you squish it all up really good until it's well incorporated. And I did wash my hands. Yes, I'm wearing my rings because I couldn't get them off, but in reality, I don't always take them off anyways, so sorry, just couldn't get them off today. I'm gonna get it all nice and mixed. Kind of gross. You could wear gloves, I guess, if you don't like the feeling of the raw meat, but I like to be able to feel the textures, and when the texture changes, I can feel when there's a dry spot or a spot that needs to be mixed a little bit more. So I like to use my bare hands. There you go. It is pretty well incorporated. And okay, so you can use, I've seen a lot of people using like cookie dough scoops, but I just use my hands. So about that size. Let's see. I put them on a parchment lined tray, and then I put them in the refrigerator for about, I put them in the refrigerator for as long as it takes for me to make my my tomato sauce. So it ends up being probably about 1/2 hour. And I do that just to firm them up because it gets pretty warm while you're working with it like this, and I just worry that they'll fall apart when I put them in the sauce. I don't brown them before I put them in the sauce, and I don't put them in the oven. I just put them in just like this to a boiling sauce, and then I cook them in the sauce for at least 1 hour until they're cooked through. I think that if you can cook them for about 2 hours, that the sauce just gets much more flavorful. So they're all done. I'm gonna go put them in the refrigerator. They're pretty large. They're larger than you would think that a meatball would be, but they shrink up pretty good after they cook. So I'll see you when it's time to put them in the sauce.